For those listening, Scott and I met at IHS, and I was like, "You want to experiment with some of the high range magic principles and see what happens on a podcast?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure,
Yeah, sure. Why not?
yeah, why not?" So basically, I want to introduce you to what I call the Fabulous Four. Is like the pillars of high range magic, and hear your thoughts on them, and also have you try them and see what happens. So the first is more or less it's mindset, relaxation, musicianship or energy, and finally mechanics. So obviously we need mechanics to truly, for people that are struggling with high range, to unlock the high range. The mindset principles that I have, and this is, we kind of touched on this, first of all is to be positively focused. Like focus on what you want, not on what you don't want. What you focus on grows. One thing that I say a lot is ask now, not how.
Right.
Yeah. It seems like you already are practicing that in a sense of like, how do I want to sound, right? Not how do I make the sound happen necessarily.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like it's not necessarily like that results sort of orientated thinking of like, am I actually messing with the end product more than I'm focusing on the input?
Yeah. Right. There's a time to focus on the inputs for sure. Something I learned from Andrew Bain is like, make sure your ingredients are good for the recipe. But ultimately, we want to be focusing on what we want to hear. And in this little exploration, a couple more mindset points are to be persistent, so don't give up. To be guiding. I always talk about like if you're walking a little child across like a sidewalk or a street crossing, you'd have them by the hand and they're like all over the place and you're just gently guiding them in the direction.
Yes.
So when I do like a squeal, especially if I'm doing that one really far from my normal embouchure, who knows what's going to come out? It takes a while to guide it, and I just guide it very persistently. So that was kind of lucky, but to have that note, it was like, okay, yes, good, yes, that note, yeah, that's right. No, don't worry about that. Yeah, that note, that's the note. Like that's kind of the spirit. Yeah. In addition, mindfulness, patience, limiting beliefs is a big part of mindset. So, for example, what's the highest you think you've ever played, Scott?
I don't know. I think like there was definitely a while where I was like getting up to the B flat above high B flat like every day.
Okay, so we'll call that
Like
double B flat.
double B flat. I think I don't know if like I haven't played that note in a while just because like I haven't gotten up there, but
Yeah.
that was because when I switched to the triple, I would just do all my harmonic stuff up to the high E flat horn, and so that was just the natural endpoint.
Wow. And then would you push it even beyond that? Like
I mean, I would try, but I was pretty
pretty
like
maxed out at B flat above high C.
I was like, that always felt good enough, so I would just kind of go there.
So that's part of the mindset thing as well, is like you warmed up to the 16th harmonic of the high E flat horn. And that's what you warmed up to every day, or at least aspired to. When I worked with Jeff Nelson, there was this big transition moment, and he was like, it wasn't quite locking for him, our work. And I was like, yeah, what are you warming up to? And he's like, yeah, I just warm up to high C every day.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not you anymore, Jeff. Like, you warm up to high F above high C every day, or high G above high C every day. Like, you haven't played the horn and warmed up until you've gotten up there.
That's the, I mean, I get this with students all the time of like, when they do, you do like a harmonic exercise and you go, and it's like, okay, cool. Now push trigger 2 and 3 down, do the same thing, and they look at you like, but then I'll end up on a high D flat. And I was like, yeah, that's one half step above the note that you just played. And
right.
Like that's okay. It's like it's no different. It's really not mechanically any different than playing the C. And then you kind of see how far they can go. And then at some point, then we were talking about this earlier. At some point, their body decides that maybe their body or their mind or something decides to change their input, and then you have to be like, okay, wait, why'd
Right.
you stop doing it the same way just because it's an E flat now instead of an F or whatever, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And there is, I mean, do you feel like generally, I mean, we'll get into mechanics, but generally, like the aperture gets smaller, more focused as we ascend?
I guess so. I mean, I guess it has to. Think about the embouchure going forward and back instead of going smaller out. And that's mostly to make sure that I'm like, I think that what I'm trying to avoid is that like spreading out of the embouchure.
Worst.
And so if I focus it in as I go higher, it helps.
Yeah.
Not, you know, I might just be counterbalancing the thing and nothing's actually changing, but the intention is to keep everything projecting forward so that I don't lose my embouchure. Something has to vibrate, you know, in order.
Something has to vibrate. I used to be a spreader. Like my face would be like, ugh.
Oh yeah, you do that.
Oh my god, horror.
Terrible.
So next. So we covered mindset. We got that basically. The next step is relaxation. The next pillar is relaxation. So I'm gonna guide you through dead face. You and the audience together. Dead face is when you're just like everything, your eyes. So good. You've obviously practiced this before. It's like releasing all activation. And sometimes I'm going to do a masterclass on facial massage sometimes, but I find that rubbing my face and getting pressure gives me more sensitivity and conscious access to the places that I want to relax because I can feel them more with that extra blood flow. From a dead face place, especially being mindful of the corners releasing, what happens if you sigh? Yeah, and the corners release, right?
Yeah, you go even further out, yeah.
Yeah. So now, can you do that with your horn in front of you? Beautiful. Have you ever done it where you make a note with
Like a
relaxed corners?
that kind of thing, you mean? Like
Your corners are still a little engaged, though. See if you can completely let the corners go.
I see. Yeah, it's actually really hard to do this.
It is, yeah.
'Cause
There you go.
They really want to do something, yeah.
There you go.
Hey, if I put the trigger down, I think I can get something. There we go.
Nice.
I needed to find a resonant note. There we go. It wanted to play
Exactly.
a B flat quarter flat or something.
That's the oh my god, I played Harry Potter recently and it was notated like F in the in the bass clef, quarter step flat.
Quarter step flat.
And someone had
was this the Half Blood Prince? I think
Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah, it was Half Blood Prince. Yeah. No, I remember this marking. Yeah.
And someone wrote in there redundant marking.
Yeah. No, it is. I remember. Oh my god, this is a brief story. There's a moment in Shostakovich's Fourth Symphony where the seventh and eighth horns have to play that minor second with each other, and I have to admit, the first time I heard it, I've heard it live more than I think people have really. I mean, like it's not played that often, but the first two times I heard it live. It sounded like there was one note. And then I heard the Boston Symphony do it and I was like, oh, I get it. I understand.
I actually played that with Philly like less than a year ago and I was on
really?
seventh horn and Randy Gardner was playing eighth horn.
It
was perfectly in tune. It was perfectly in tune.
It was perfect minor second. It was exactly.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was one of my best solo moments ever in the my orchestral career. Now, what I always tell people is that a lot of times we conflate the activation of our corners with changing the notes. So people who really start to use their corners to try and raise the notes, in my opinion, corners are more about just stabilizing the embouchure and allowing us to put more air through without like losing things.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that completely. The point of the corners is so that your embouchure doesn't collapse as you put more air into the system.
Yeah.
Basically.
So what I have people do is so see if you can raise the pitch, keeping your corners completely relaxed while you play.
it's getting a little bit harder at that point.
And you can feel them starting to engage,
Yeah,
right?
sorry, they want to engage. Like, I mean, even like that low note, it really wants to engage. I see why you're doing this quiet, because it takes a lot of air.
A favorite practice for this is just sighing with the horn like a centimeter from your face, but not trying to make any sound, and just getting used to having it there and releasing corners. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Are you moving your tongue to make that happen?
I'm trying to just blow air faster, but
Faster,
it's
okay.
hard. It's hard to do it without making it also louder.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause it's such a weird, like, to have no structure there at all. It's very.
It's very foreign to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Of course, you're already very technically competent horn player. When I run into people that have big endurance issues, it's usually because they've wired in overwork in their
Oh, yeah.
corners. And then I have to have them sigh and learn how to play without the corner activation at all, and then they find a happy medium. Regarding that feeling of like blowing more air, what I think about it like the garden hose, where you like put your finger over the garden hose,
Yeah.
and I use my tongue as the modulator of that faster air.
Oh, interesting.
And we'll get into that in a second in the mechanics. So then there's the chop flop, just to reset everything. Yeah. And then I do this all the time for relaxation. A lot of people get uptight about, they bring their horn at the face. I'm sure you've seen this. It has to be exactly in the right place. Oh my God, is it wrong? You play all over?
No, I mean, I just put it where it goes. I mean, that's just kind of the one spot it's been.
Interesting.
I mean, I can do it
Yeah.
wherever I need to now. I mean, it's all there, but there's definitely a spot that I like.
Oh, for sure. For those not watching the video, he was playing all over the sides of his face and
Just, like,
making
the
great sound.
corners. In undergrad, I used to play like way over here. This is actually the corrected version, my new normal embouchure.
Interesting.
But at some point, my undergrad teacher just gave up. He was like, "It's fine. I guess that's just where it's gonna be," and it's like it's probably just where it's gonna be. So.
The other thing is to find the tongue channel. Have you ever played tongue setsen?
Tongue sets in. Oh,
You stick out your tongue
yeah,
real far?
Yeah, yeah, where your your tongue is your bottom lip.
Uh-huh. Can you stick it out further?
Oh, like you. Oh, you mean like. Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Go ahead and try ascending with your tongue far out. See what happens.
Man, it's got to go back to your mouth.
Can you track it? You have it out a little bit more and pin it.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. What's going on here? Yeah, your back of your lip has to like, or your tongue rather. Now it's not your tongue. It's not your lip anymore. Has to like really crank it up there to close that hole.
Arch
Yeah, it's
forward,
gotta
right?
really arch forward. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I saw somebody playing like a Mozart concerto on their tongue. I'm like, I had to do that.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that. I don't know. I have to practice
And then when I learned how to use my tongue right, I could do it.
Intriguing.
So that's a thing as well as part of relaxation is learning to kind of, keep the tongue pinned because you can't go back in the mouth and
Yeah.
cut off the air in the throat, which so many people do.
You shouldn't. Yeah, I try not to feel my tongue back there. If it gets really tight, it becomes a real problem to playing. Remember, I had a teacher tell me once that like the tongue he was wanted the tongue to be as forward as possible in his mouth, which I think is like similar to this idea of like keeping it not creeping up back there, but sort of like engaged in the front of your mouth, so that there's enough his thought of it was that there was enough room in the air, the oral cavity for the air to pass through, but it's probably related to this in some way.
I think of it like again, like the garden hose, that if the tongue is in the back of the mouth, it's like a kink in the garden hose, whereas if it's in the front of the mouth, it's like the thumb on the nozzle of the garden hose. Yeah. I have an exercise called the forward buzz that solves that. I think it's a little too much to do right now, but if people want to go to highrangemagic.com, they can find out about the forward buzz there. The next pillar is musicianship. I think we're totally on the same page again, but want to hear your thoughts. Musicianship, when it comes to solving high range, is the idea that like we can't just approach things like with mechanics. We have to have a concept of the sound that we want. And we can't be playing up there with the energies of resentment or fear. Like the music of fear sounds a particular way. The music of resentment, of frustration sounds a particular way. And so we need to be like channels of emotions that are musically resonant with those notes being produced.
I agree with this completely. I've been thinking about Beethoven 4, as you were saying. Musical idea of it, that it's got to be, it's very scary, it's very treacherous, it's very light, and it is all of those things. But it's actually very beautiful. It's very nice. It would have been nicer if it was on a different instrument, but there's actually a very calming quality to that passage in the piece that I try to remember when I was, it actually feels like there's a relief involved there, and the flute can. Something like that is the melody.
Well, if you play it, so yeah, 100%. If you play it with energies of calm and relief, it's highly likely that you're going to feel calm and relieved with what you played. Now, I want you to just, for contrast, play it with energies of fear and treacherousness.
And I mean, but even like not minding the A flat I played, the quality of the high B flat was not the same quality of sound even after I got up to the note. Like it's a very tight sound. It's a very bright sound. That's
100%.
So even if I had hit it, that would have been the resulting sound. I almost would rather miss it with a very calm sound than hit it with that sound. It's easy, it's nice, it's beautiful.
It is easy,
then,
nice, beautiful relief.
And then if you want some equipment to reduce the mechanical chance of failure, then sure, that helps. But you don't.
Exactly.
The voice, the what's it called? The emotion of it is still goes.
The emotion's the same. The fundamental is the musicianship, not the equipment.
Another one is Pavane, right? Like people all the time, that A in Pavane is a very. You can hear it when people play it in a very stressful way.
Mm-hmm.
I even had to squint my eyes there to kind of make it brighter, but. But when you just kind of, when basically the note just feels like it's a very expressive lift up from the E. It's just a release of the E natural.
Can you play it with energies, with the energy of, I hope it comes out, I don't know what's going to happen?
And it came out, it works. But I think actually what I would hear back in the recording, I think the slur was not.
It wasn't gentle.
Expressive, gentle slur. It was just kind of a note-to-note sort of thing, and then that expressive calm. It just works.
So different.
It works.
Yeah.
We were talking about it with light excerpts, but it actually works with loud excerpts too.
You want
like
to say
Beethoven
more?
7 has, like I find that the high B is so much easier to hit if you imagine it with the fanfare and excitement that the symphony is providing you. rather than the that kind of like tension, like you're swinging a bat, like I gotta hit it. But if you just have the like it just it's fun.
Swing it for the fences.
Like, come on, don't miss. It's like, dude, they miss a third of the time. Come on, like, what are you worried about?
Yeah, totally.
They only hit a third of the time. That's baseball fact for you. That's if you hit isn't that right in baseball? If you hit 3 out of 10 times, you're like the best batter best batter of all time or something.
It's probably something like that. Yeah, batting
I
averages
forget
are
how it works.
interesting.
But still, like once you get to this idea of like that, you're just focusing on the very exciting and jubilant note, and it's not a tense expression anymore. It just goes away.
100%. And even when we do the exercises, this is something all the time in high range magic because we're not just playing Beethoven 7, we're doing weird,
Right, yeah.
funky exercises. And I tell people if you are not bringing an energy of joy, curiosity, exploration, triumph, one of those, patience, discovery, if instead you're bringing like, I have to make this right, or I have an expectation, or why can't I get this, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Or it's the wrong exercise. It's music first, even in those situations.
That's good advice generally. If you I know people do this with their teachers in college too, and even going to work. Like if you walk into work and walk into a lesson with the mindset of I need this to be right, then you're kind of like that's actually not a real restriction. I mean, occasionally it is. Occasionally there are the pressures that things really do need to be at the top of your level, but most of the time, if you come in with a very open mindset of just like I just want to be interested in what's going on, and I want to do something interesting, and I want to think about it. It makes everyone's attitude better. Your teachers get more out of you. You get more out of your teachers. Work is hopefully more interesting and more fun. It doesn't feel like you're just a machine cranking out concerts every week.
Yeah.
You're involved and sort of. So I do. I really like that, especially.
It's also such a contribution to the culture as a colleague.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want colleagues that are coming in just to get it right and go home. That's not
That's not
super
very
fun. Well, final pillar is some mechanics. I'm very curious what's going to happen here. So you may know. The first one I'm going to cover is called the roll-in. Have you ever done a roll-in before?
Roll-in. I don't know if I've ever done a roll-in before.
Okay, so that's credit to Jeff Smiley from Balanced
Yes,
Embouchure,
Smiley. Okay. Yep.
who I think coined the term. I'm not sure if he fully coined it, but certainly that's where I got exposed to it. And then Valerie
We all borrow
Wells,
from each other, I'm sure.
100%. Anyway, roll-in is like, you're curling in your lips towards the center in front of the teeth. So go ahead and try that, and I'll coach you.
Like with the horn at my face, or just
No, we're just gonna do it. So that's over the teeth. So we
Yeah,
want to do it in front of the teeth.
like something like that. You mean.
So yeah, you can close your jaw. It makes it easier to, and then we don't want to expose any teeth. So you see my lips.
Oh, okay. We're not trying to actually like see the teeth here. We're just trying to.
We're trying to hide all the red of the lips. Yeah, you're getting closer, getting closer, getting closer. Yep, and make sure that it's not between your teeth. That's in front of your. You can try it really high, so it's like even like that, like old man face. Yeah, getting closer, getting closer.
Getting closer. Yeah. Okay.
See if you can hide more of your teeth, or hide more of your lips.
Yeah,
excuse me.
my teeth
Hide
are
more.
hidden.
Definitely touch your molars to each other before you start, and breathe through your mouth, through your nose.
I'm trying,
And
man.
it's not an embouchure.
Yeah.
It's not an embouchure. It's just we're trying to make like an old man face. You're getting closer, getting closer. That's the right direction. Great.
Okay.
And then just a few more reps of that. And relax. And again. And you get that feel. It's like boop. You're like your lips.
Yeah.
are just like,
Yeah.
boop,
Things are really.
boop. They're really curling in. Let's do 5 reps. Great.
Feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to make sound effects. All right. The opposite would be like roll out. So you're smushing your lips together and out. Yeah, perfect. So let's go from roll out to roll in. Yeah. And notice that you're spreading your
Mm-hmm.
corners a little bit. You don't need to do that. You can roll in without doing anything with your corners. That's a different movement. Beautiful. So next you might notice that once you've rolled in, there's like a line.
Mm-hmm.
We call that the squeak line.
The squeak line.
The squeak
Okay.
line. And you can move the squeak line up and down on your face while staying rolled in.
Oh, okay. You can move it.
Yeah, but stay rolled in as you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're experimenting. We're
So go at we want to go at the speed that you can stay rolled in. Nice. Nice. Yeah, beautiful.
okay. Yeah.
Beautiful. In order to get a little squeak to come out, we want to be able to, let's just try and stick our tongue out through the rolled in lips. And stay rolled in against the tongue.
All right. Oh gosh. Okay.
And notice that that line has to be kind of like right below your top teeth so your tongue can pass through it. So now what we're going to do is just, without trying to make a sound, just pass like a sewing needle amount of sub French horn playing air. No sound though.
Okay.
Just enough to let the air gently pass through those rolled in lips. Beautiful. Then, as we do that, imagine these are the lips and they're rolled in and there's a little bit of a hole. We're going to try and curl the outside of the lips to catch on the outside and catch the airstream. And
That's a very colorful squeak you got there. There's a lot of overtones.
that's what we're doing.
Yeah, this is wild. Hang on.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, it's coming out like right here, which is where my normal embouchure is actually.
Exactly. That's
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
expected.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. And just beautiful.
Okay. Yeah.
Melody of love. All right.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah,
So a
yeah.
couple tips here. So first of all, back off the air a lot. And then when we talked about mindset, we talked about positive guidance. So just ask your body, "Hey body, can I get a coherent single pitch buzz, please? Can you help me arrive at that?" And then just keep guiding it towards that while continuing to roll in against the airstream and backing off the air.
Okay, hang on. We're almost there, I think. There's a lot. Yeah, there's still a lot of air, a lot of force coming out of this.
Yeah, so back off the air again, halve the amount of air. Beautiful. And again, halve the amount of air. You're used to buzzing probably. It's not like a buzz.
Yeah. It's not like a buzz.
Cool.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
Cool, yeah. You got a little mosquito. So we're going to leave that for a second and talk about the clamp.
Right. Okay. Yep.
The clamp is, if I've got my lips here, it's a vertical movement of the top lip against the bottom lip pushing into each other. So just for a second, try a...
Oh, okay. Hang on.
Just without rolling in, but just smushing the lips vertically.
So you're saying you're taking that like low buzz, that kind of thing.
And all I'm doing is I'm applying just a little bit of pressure. I'm not trying to raise the pitch dramatically.
That kind
Yep.
of thing. Yeah.
Yep. Now let's try it with regular buzz.
It's been a long time
Yep.
since I free buzz.
Yeah, no problem. But you get
was-
were
yeah.
you able to push the lips into
Yeah,
each other
yeah,
and
yeah.
notice that raise the pitch?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Now let's try if we get a little bit of that roll in. And again, we're going to back way off the air and see if you can clamp those lips just a little bit together.
It's an interesting way to think about this.
Mm-hmm.
Where's that face again? That old man face you're saying?
Yeah. So let me add one more thing, which is if you breathe through your nose, it's going to make everything so much easier because you can kind of get the old man face while breathing through your nose.
Mm-hmm. That kind of thing.
Yeah,
We're
great.
trying to adjust the pitch a little bit.
You're doing great. So now one of these mindset things, super learning techniques, is if you just close your eyes and you imagine what came out and the favorite part about what came out, you imagine when it had that the pitch and it was coherent and you raised it a little bit and it felt good, you were backed off the air and you say, yes, body, more of that, more of that. Can I have a little bit more now? Let's have a second round.
Something like that.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
You remember the highest pitch that you heard? Can you remember what it was?
Something like with that one up there.
Yeah. So just really remember it, replay it in your mind, and elaborate it. Make it stronger and buzzier and lasting longer at that pitch, and say, "Body, can I have some of that?" Yeah.
Something like that
So,
up there, yeah.
what was the highest
Yeah.
pitch you had?
Yeah. Yeah. A little B. Yeah.
So now what I want you to do, Scott, is just get the horn an inch away from your face and see if you can do it, because it's a stimulus for all sorts of weird things. Totally normal. We bring the horn up and like, oh wait, lips don't want to do that. Okay.
Yeah, there's two different little notes happening here, which is very intriguing. But
So that's telling us that the horn is too strong of a stimulus right now.
Okay.
It's like when you bring one magnet into another magnet's field and it like disrupts the thing.
Yeah.
So let's get the horn a little bit farther away. Remember, breathe through the nose, roll in, old man face. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay.
Now what I want you to do is I want you to make the old man face and just completely roll in. Hide all the red. All the red. And then, oh, you still got more red to hide with the upper lip. Yeah, there you go. And then keep it and just put the mouthpiece on it real quick without changing anything. And don't blow it. Great. Take it off. And hide more red. Put the mouthpiece over it. Yeah. Take it off again. Hide more red.
Sorry. Like, only again, I need to hold my breath as a part of this, but
No. Yeah, now you're getting the motion. That's beautiful. And now see if you can just get out a tiny little squeak through your horn. Yeah, you'll want it in the usual place.
do something. I feel like I know where the air is actually coming out of, so I'm gonna try and move it a little bit. But like that kind of thing.
Great. Yeah, we didn't get a low note, that's for sure.
Hey, that's an embouchure.
Yeah, you're right. It's not an embouchure that we're doing right now.
Like, is that kind of the sound I'm trying
That's
to get out here?
exactly the sound. So now let's replay that in your head for a second. Remember what it felt like, what it sounded like. Hey, body, can I have that, but just a little bit richer and a little bit more secure even?
Like
Yeah.
that felt like a buzz a little bit, but it was in the vein.
Great. So we're around G.
Yeah.
We're around G. Are you having fun, by the way?
Yeah, no, I'm very interested in this. This is very
Okay. Okay. Cool.
I'm trying to do my best. I'm back in like student mode, so I'm.
You're doing amazing. I
trying to
love
make sure I'm
watching you
doing it.
learn.
I'm trying to make sure I'm doing it correctly, so that this is a real endeavor here.
There's 1,000 things I could acknowledge right now about the way that you're learning, that you're doing with world-class excellence. I was like, encourage everybody watching this to see how Scott is taking his time. He's reflecting after reps. He's exploring. He's like, wait, hold on. I think I'm like self-advocating is really important for like your own rhythm and exploration. There's so much good going on here. We're gonna let that integrate for a second. Give a nice chop flop. And we're going to go to the total opposite side of the spectrum, which is called rolling out.
Yeah.
Again, thanks, balanced
Okay,
embouchure.
yeah.
So what we're going to do is stick our mouthpiece inside the lower lip.
Mm-hmm.
Just try that.
Like out there, you mean? Like that kind of thing?
No. I mean,
No,
I'm
you're
sorry,
talking about
can't-
like, you've been like, oh yeah, okay.
Beautiful. And then we're going to realize, like, get the upper lip in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then angle our chin down, our horn up. Exactly, while pooching that lower lip out. And see what note. You might need a little bit more angle. More angle. Chin down, horn up. Chin down, horn up. Chin down, horn up. Yep.
Am I getting this where you want it to be?
So when the chin goes down, it's like.
Oh, you're like,
nodding.
you mean like, you're like down there kind of thing?
Yeah, except we should be able to go.
Yeah, get the pedal pitch.
I think just a little bit more upward angle of the lead pipe. Yeah, and then what I do sometimes is I teach people to do this little mustache and like touch their lips to like that. So that's the movement that you do in order to get the lips to come together. To
This is less
No
successful,
problem.
but that's okay.
Yeah, it's all an exploration, also mostly a distraction to let what we just did integrate.
So let it go away. Yeah, let me not think about the other one for a while.
When you figure out the rollout, it's like, speaking of baseball bats, it's like you've seen baseball players and they've got those weights on their bats before they go to bat. This is part of the high range magic, is we learn to play on the most mechanically disadvantaged embouchure possible for high notes. You would agree that rollout does not want to play high notes either way, right?
I would assume that's not the best way to do it.
So we. Like, I can barely get up to a high C on that embouchure.
Like I'm not even sure if that's the real.
Yeah, and yeah.
Yeah, something like that around
You're
there.
doing it enough that you feel, hey, it's hard to play high as I normally play.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy.
Yeah. So then what we want to do is let's just see if from that mechanically disadvantaged place, you can smush those lips together like we talked about. As you try to ascend. Use that smush to ascend.
Like that kind of thing?
Yeah,
Is that what you
beautiful,
mean?
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you were smushing, only you can know.
Yeah, I guess I'm the only I'm the purveyor of smush. But then it kind of crackles a little bit at that point,
A
but
beautiful melody of love. Also, purveyor of smush is your new official.
That's gonna be my Discord name or something.
Yeah. The final thing I want you to play with right now. Actually, let's go back to the roll in. So make that grandpa face. Yeah, you're so good at it now. And then horn on there and a little squeak out, a little squeal.
Yeah, a little F right there.
Yeah, exactly. Nice job. And now let's see if we can add a little bit of that smush, clamp, kind of ascension movements from that F. Yep, great.
We found an F sharp in there. Yeah. Okay.
That's the right direction. Just to put it in the field, because sometimes our bodies learn best from mirror neurons.
something like that.
Nice. Yeah, you just got up to a B flat. That's
B flat. Yeah, there's my note.
so now. Let's give that face a little bit of time to integrate. We're gonna play on a very pinned tongue. So pin your tongue. And see if you can climb the harmonic series.
It's like that's it's interesting. There's like a limit there.
So use the front of your tongue like that garden hose phenomenon to see if you can get it kind of up and forward to.
I'm really good at those two notes. I can do those.
You're amazing at those two notes. Yeah, world class. Carnegie Hall. Watch out.
Yep. B flat to come out so bad.
You're getting the knacks. What is the thing that my tongue is doing? Ask your tongue, can you please show me and help me understand what you're doing to ascend? I would love to know.
It's like fighting the urge just to play louder to make it happen. Is very.
That's okay. You don't have to fight the urge. Just, hey, tongue, show me what you do to play higher.
Interesting.
Great.
Yeah.
And now see if you can get one more harmonic. One more harmonic.
I know. I need that B flat. That's the Britain Serenade. It's coming now.
I bet you have even one more harmonic.
Yeah, I bet I do. I lost my B flat.
That's okay.
Ready to go. Yeah.
Remember, ask now, not how.
Yeah.
Hey, tongue, you remember how you did that thing? Just, you got it. You got it.
Okay, we got up there to the third. We got up to the C real quick.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, great. Now we're gonna go one more time back to that roll in and see if we can say, "Hey, tongue, could you do what you know to raise that note even a little higher with the smush and the clamp and everything we know, rolling in, tongue forward, all that stuff."
There was an A flat there very briefly.
Uh-huh.
There's a very brief little A flat that came out.
It's very cool. So let's replay that in the head. And the most successful moment when it was there and it was like, oh, it's clicked and my lips are rolled in and it feels good. My air is backed off and I've got that vibration is happening. And there's so much headroom. There's like so much higher I could raise it for sure if I coordinated these factors. So, body, can you give me that? Nice. Nice. Give you a demo to integrate.
Yeah. Something around there, I guess.
Amazing. And then if on your normal set you kind of do like a like kind of up to that G.
Yeah, okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you feel like that's kind of loosened up, or is that about the same, or like what's the?
It's definitely like, I think where I really felt it actually. I mean, it's part of the harmonic series that like after high C, there's not really any slots up there, you know, but you do kind of get more of a sense that like they're all, instead of it being like a real strain to pass the high C, it definitely feels more like it's a trombone slide where if I just move it, the note's going to happen without me having to, like, I'm going to try it one more time because I'm wondering if the G actually needed to be the highest note I played there.
Definitely not.
I think that was a B flat maybe again. I can't
Yeah.
remember where I got up to, but
Were you thinking about a little roll in as you did that?
I was trying to actually just keep. I think I was actually I was thinking more of the clamp. I think a little bit just because it
Cool.
was like trying to keep everything stable
Yeah.
without like like basically trying to make the G and the B flat kind of be the same note a little bit without it being like a big leap.
Knowing that you can have just a little bit of that to support as well as the clamp, what happens?
Yeah, real briefly,
Cool.
there was a note above that with the G. Yeah.
It's so fun.
So that was a pretty that was that same B flat, but with the trigger down, it kind of resonated a little bit more.
Hmm.
See, now you've got me on this thing. Now I want to hit the C on the
Scott, let me give it to you so your brain can kind of absorb it, soak in it.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, it's interesting if the sound on the 16th harmonic isn't very good. It's hard to get past that. You know what I mean?
Correct. Yeah, there's a kind of continuity principle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, there's a there for sure. There's a
Yeah. Do you feel like it gives you a little bit more mechanical advantage to get those lips just a little bit more rolled in?
Yeah, I definitely need to. I mean, listening to that B flat that I got a second ago, I was trying to activate that again was interesting. That felt like a very that one felt very secure. That
Right.
felt a little bit more nebulous, about like mostly in the sense of like mechanically whether I'm actually doing anything. Whereas the B flat was like, okay, it was the B flat. I felt a little bit of ownership over that. Like I felt like I did that one.
It was very sonorous, yeah.
Yeah.
So the way forward that I kind of like to paint, it's very small. It's like 2-3 minutes a day of just kind of practicing, like doing that range of motion, getting little squeaks, and then of course with the mindset, with the energy, celebrating what you have, and then over the course of like a month or so, I wouldn't be surprised if you get, double C's, maybe higher. The record so far is an A above double C.
Oh, dang, nice.
Yeah. And it only takes a few minutes a day, which I really like. It's kind of it just sort of osmoses into the way that we play.
When you're sort of abstracting, a normal, so to speak, embouchure so far, I mean, I guess my what I'm getting at with this is this unique? Like, are you finding that this is a method unique to just like getting up into the upper register, or where does this permeate in like more grounded music, so to speak?
Yeah, what I find is that there's a dynamism to that range of motion of rolling in, rolling out, clamping, smushing, and the tongue control that translates to more subtle stabilization. So, for example, we all know how to adduct our arms, but if I just want to like push against something and hold it firm, I'm not moving my arm, but I'm using the same adductor muscle, my pectoral, and it's the same thing with the lips. Like you don't see my lips go as I ascend. It's just, but they are stabilizing in that direction. there's like a micro roll in. And
Yeah,
same
yeah,
thing with the descent. I had a guy, a low horn player who won an audition,
yeah.
and he was like, "Oh yeah, I used the rollout to get a fatter sound in Don Quixote,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
a
yeah.
little rollout
Yeah.
with the clamp and the smush as well."
Putting the
Cool.
fingers for some reason makes it feel more real.
Well, there's something about changing the valves. I saw you do this already when you're trying to get that pedal C to pop. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you're just
yeah.
flicking the trigger or
Just
something.
flicking the triggers. I'm curious.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Curious. Right,
Oh, it wants to come out.
yeah, it wants to be there. Yeah, there we go. There's something in there. Yeah,
You
yeah.
finally got the double C.
There it is. Yeah.
And the other thing is that this squeaking thing, you can do it in the car. And if you can squeak a double C,
Yeah.
like it's child's play to just hold the horn in front of it and let it amplify through the horn.
Yeah, it's really finding that that it's a minimal sort of airstream that you need to just kind of make that note pop out, I guess.
Most people overplay up there.
Yeah,
Way
yeah,
too much air.
That's I mean that's definitely true. I mean even in that octave, you don't really it doesn't take much to make that note come out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean all those seem fine. And then it's just why the why is that one so much suddenly different than
What I see you doing is I see you tensing a little bit as you go for it, and I see you wondering how to do it. It sounds like,
yeah.
versus asking now. Any like takeaways or questions or
I mean we've been at this for a while, so there's definitely some like physicality that
Yeah.
seems really involved in here, and one that to be completely honest, I would not. My intuition is not to welcome that into my playing. That like this seems like a very like the exercises we're doing seem very physical and very muscle sort of orientated. So I wonder, is that a symptom of how long we've been going, or is that a symptom of sort of like is that sort of the design that we're very muscle focused when we're doing these sort of mechanical things?
It's a really good question and a really good point, because I think we share a value around, say, elegance, grace, and ease while playing
Yeah,
versus
yeah.
like a muscle-bound, strong approach. I think it's a little bit like, have you ever had the experience of like you go to a gym after a while off, or you go to some kind of fitness class you haven't been in a while, and you're like, dang, I'm sore the next day. Like there's muscles I used that I didn't know I even had.
Yeah, I can definitely imagine what that's like.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
me,
like
a regular gym rat over here, but
right.
yeah.
Well, your social media biceps are huge anyway.
That's right.
It does use new muscles, and the amount that we've been at it
Yeah.
for the first time, it's a lot for your face and
Yeah,
even
yeah,
a lot for your nervous system. So definitely, if you feel a little stiff tomorrow or whatever, take care of yourself.
Yeah.
That's why I say really just a couple minutes a day,
Yeah.
and not even every day for people that are on the path. I say like 3, 4, 5 days a week of just a few minutes a day sometimes. What I find is that doesn't interfere so much with and remember, the other pillar here is relaxation.
Yeah.
So we're doing that and roll out pedal notes, and it all happens in balance. Anytime I've had a few people overdo it, and inevitably they get stiff, they get swollen, they need to take time off, their playing suffers. There's a
Yeah.
very obvious detriment to doing too much of this.